So we are back for another episode of Lego cooking, where I am going to do a 45-minute one-shot cook while I'm also working on some Legos in the background to show that you can make something delicious while relaxing after a long day of work. So I'm going to put 45 minutes on the clock. And let's get started. So I have nothing out right now. Let's go ahead and get prepped. First thing that I know that I'm going to need is my stainless steel pan. I want to get my oven preheating, 400 degrees. Sauce pot. I've got a pork chop, butter, lemons, bacon fat, mushroom stock, mushrooms, broccolini, and some couscous. This is going to be the main components of my dish right here. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. I'm going to fast forward the video, get stuff prepped. I'm going to start working on my Legos behind me, and I hope that you enjoy. As usual, I have sped up the camera so I can show you my mise en place as quickly as possible. I'm using this time just to get out more ingredients and to get the rest of my equipment ready to go. The very first thing that I'm going to do cooking-wise is prepping my broccolini. I'm going to take a couple of strands, cut off the ends, drizzle some olive oil on top of it with some salt and pepper, and then put that to the side while I'm getting my pork chop seasoned. And that seasoning is just going to be kosher salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. And that's going to rest and get up to room temperature for a few minutes while I'm waiting on everything else to get ready. And I'm going to show you the next steps. We are just about 7 minutes into the cook time. Most of what I need to do is prepped out. I have seasoned my pork chop. I have put olive oil and salt on my broccolini. I have put my mushroom stock into my pan. My couscous is over here. My herbs are going to be cut up in a little bit. My oven is still preheating. So while all of this is waiting, I'm going to start putting together some Legos for a couple of minutes. So last time, I was able to complete the first bag of my R2-D2. I want to try and get through my second bag during this cook today. Started the Lego process of this. I'm going to walk you through all of the ingredients that I'm using for my dinner very quickly. So I have a bone-in pork chop, some regular couscous, homemade mushroom broth that I'll give you the recipe for in a minute, a single Portobello mushroom cap, some rosemary, thyme, bacon fat, butter, salt, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, vegetable broth, olive oil, lemon, and some red pepper. And I'm going to walk you through the equipment that you'll need next. 15 minutes have elapsed in my cook time, and I am taking this opportunity to walk you through the equipment that I use. It's all fairly easy to come by. I have a stainless steel pan. Then I have a non-stick saucepan, a baking sheet, aluminum foil, then standard stuff like tongs, spatula, knives, cutting boards. So there's nothing preventing you from making this at home. 30 minutes into the cook time, my pan is heating, my oven is still going. I'm going to go ahead and get my couscous pan heating up. And again, this right now is just mushroom stock. I'm going to put some couscous into that. Right now, I'm going to get some last minute things prepped, and I'm going to go back to my Legos while I am actually cooking my pork chop here. So I'll talk to you in a bit. This is when I'm going to really start cooking. Now, the first thing that I'm doing in this portion that you're looking at is getting my herbs chopped and ready for my mushroom sauce that's going to go over my pork chop later. And while this is happening, I'm still letting that stainless steel pan heat up so that it is nice and hot for my pork chop that I just put in. I'm going to let that go untouched for about 2 minutes per side so that it develops a nice crust. And then after it is done searing on that first side,
I am going to put it into the oven for about 10 minutes. And when it goes into the oven, I am also going to be putting in the broccolini so that that can cook.
23 minutes left in my cook. I'm almost done with this part of the Legos. I want to try and get this done before I have to go do any more cooking. So let's get to work.
As I am finishing the second part of my Lego R2-D2 build, I'm going to use this time to walk you through a very simple recipe for homemade mushroom broth. What I do is I save up the mushroom stems for any mushrooms that I might be cooking with in a Ziploc freezer bag until that bag is completely full. Once it's full, I take all of those frozen stems out, put them into a stock pot with just water, onion, celery, carrots, black pepper, and garlic, and I let that boil or simmer for about 3 to 4 hours until my house smells entirely of mushrooms. Once that is done simmering, I portion it into individual containers where it goes into the freezer for a couple of months or in the fridge for a couple of weeks. That allows me to save it and use it on recipes like this couscous recipe or even a risotto recipe that I will show you in the future. But right now I am finishing up my Lego build. I see that I have a few pieces left that I will have to go and fix later. But for now, I take this opportunity to pull my pork chop out of the oven and get that resting as I finish my cook.
We are 12 minutes left to go. I have pulled my pork chop. It is resting. My couscous is sitting there steaming. It's going to need some butter and some lemon and a little bit of salt before it is done, but that is far from over. I still have my broccolini that is in the oven and roasting. So right now I'm going to work on a mushroom pan sauce. So just hold in tight, okay? I'm going to show you the rest of the plating whenever it's time.
So as I am walking through the last couple of minutes of my cooking process, I'm going to walk you through the last couple of things that I am doing. So I start with the Portobello mushroom sauce by getting the pan deglazed with some vegetable broth. Then I toss in the roughly chopped Portobello mushroom cap with some garlic powder, some onion powder, salt, pepper, and a little bit of lemon juice and get that reducing. Then I season my couscous with some salt, toss in some butter and a little bit of lemon juice, and make sure that that stays warm by keeping it on the warm stove. I then use this time as the sauce is continuing to reduce to fix my Lego build that I was an idiot and messed up earlier. But luckily it doesn't take me too long and I'm able to finish my cook process right on time. That concludes with me pulling out my broccolini and drizzling on some lemon juice. It's also going to get finished with some red pepper flake. Then everything is going to finish cooking and making sure that the mushroom pan sauce is reducing. I blast the heat all the way up to high for the last few minutes of that cook. Next up is plating, and I'm going to walk you through that next.
We have 90 seconds to go. I'm going to put everything together. You're going to be along for the ride.
This is when you pull everything from the heat and you stir the butter into that sauce. Cut up your pork chop and plate.
And all I have to do is plate. That's 45 minutes. I have broccolini. I have a pork chop. I have some mushroom couscous. And lastly, I have some pan sauteed mushrooms right here. And this is yet again another 30-minute or 45-minute total meal while I played with some Legos while this was cooking. You can cook delicious things while you are relaxing. I'm going to tear into my dinner, and I hope that you enjoy. I'll see you next time.